Good morning, this is David Plazas, Community Conversation Editor of the News Press, here in the News Press Editorial Board Room. We're delighted to have Paul Schafer here, who's a candidate for School Board District 2. Editorial Board members, if you could please introduce yourselves.
Pam Grotehouse, Bonita Springs, citizen member of the Editorial Board.
Cole Peacock, past member, alumni of the Editorial Board.
And Mr. Schafer, thank you again for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your interest in wanting to run for the school board. I understand that you've been a substitute teacher for a few years, and tell us a little bit about your experiences, how that influences why you want to do this.
I was a substitute teacher for 2 years, taught mostly ESC students. Became concerned with what I was seeing and had the opportunity to become a paraprofessional PE teacher so I could be in the school and see firsthand on a daily basis what goes on and talk to teachers and feel their frustration of the system. What really bothers me is we have a school year of 187 days, of which 60 days are geared towards testing, preparing students to take the FCAT test. That's almost 1/3 of the instructional time that they have learning how to take a test and not learning subject matter. And this bothers me. We need to bring our schools into the 21st century. We need to start, and the school system is starting to do this, bring technology into the classroom and be able to utilize it to better help the children. As I said, I taught mostly ESE students, and they are a very dear student to me for one reason. I am dyslexic. I didn't find out until I was 28 years old. All through school, I was told I was dumb, I was stupid, I didn't apply myself, I was a daydreamer, and I sat at the back of the class. And I was passed through with C's, D's, and F's. I didn't learn. I left school, went into the service, got a GED, came out, went to work. And the company I worked for was a large corporation, AT&T. And they saw potential in me and said, you need to go back to school. And I did go back to school, very concerned about going back to school from past experiences. But I was very fortunate in my 001 rhetoric class to have a professor that asked, what do you hope to get out of this class? I said, can't spell, I can't write a paper, and I don't like to read. I hope I can improve on these. The next day I went to class, and after class, the professor said, Mr. Schafer, I'd like to see you in my office. I thought I was through. Instead, I was handed a book and told, open it up and start reading. I said, where? Anywhere. So I started to read and fumbled through like I normally did and said, stop, I know what your problem is. One person took the initiative to help me. I graduated college with a 3.8 grade point average because one person helped me. That's what I wanted, why I'm running. I want to help every student in Lee County attain their dreams that they have. No child should be told, you're stupid, you're dumb, you don't apply yourself. We need to find out the reasons why and help them overcome those problems. In this way, our students will be better prepared to go into the adult world. This is what education is about, helping children.
Now, you speak very passionately about this subject, and thank you for sharing that. Tell us, how do you think you might be effective as a school board member in that role? How do you see yourself functioning in that role as a policymaker and also working with the superintendent?
As school board members, there are 5 of us. And there are certain things that I see that need to be changed here in Lee County. The first one is busing. We need to go back into the neighborhood school. That is the core of the community. Once you go back into the neighborhood school, and I look at it as a modified neighborhood school, where your first choice would be the closest school to you. But then go in a 5-mile radius. If you don't like that school and you want to choose another school within a 5-mile radius, that could be your second choice. If you want to go outside the 5-mile radius, you're able to go outside the 5-mile radius, but we will not transport the child. You need to transport the child because it's your decision. By having the child in school closer to home, the parents are more apt to take part in that child's education. If you work 8 hours a day and you have a bad day, and you go home, have to make supper, get ready to go out to a parent-teachers conference, and you say, you know, I really don't feel like traveling for 2 hours to go see a teacher about my student, I'll just pass on it. Who loses? The child. That's why we need to bring things closer together. By having a neighborhood school, the children will be seeing each other in school and outside of school, and will build relationships. When we have them in different 2 miles, 20 miles apart, there's no relationship building. And the children break down. They don't have the structure of the support of their peers. And that's why we have some of the problems of bullying, because we don't have a good core of student activity and bonding of the students. That's one of the things I'd like to change. We need to listen to our educators, our teachers in the classroom. We need to untie their hands and let them teach. It's great to have a syllabus. I had one teacher come up to me last night and said he teaches science. When they start school in August, he likes to teach about hurricanes because they affect our lives. And we're in the middle of the hurricane season in August. And to bring these children aware of the needs when a hurricane happens. But the curriculum says that you must talk about Arctic warming. We don't see glaciers here in Florida.
No,
we see hurricanes.
We sure don't see those.
My God.
We need to teach what is relevant to our students that they can achieve a better understanding of, and probably go home and teach their parents a little something. This is what education is about. Yes, it's nice to know about glaciers, and it's nice to know about global warming, but we need to put the core emphasis on what affects our daily lives, and this is one of the things we're not doing.
I'd like to ask you a question about something I saw in the paper this morning about a policy change on the use of cell phones in the classroom. You said we need to come to the 21st century. How do you feel about this policy change where now they're going to have more of a chance to keep their phone before it's taken away from them if they have used it? That's what I understood it anyway.
What you're saying is correct. It was basically more at the high school level where this was geared, and not the K through 5 or the middle school. Cell phones have a function to be used as long as it's used in the classroom. And I was at the board meeting and I listened to the debate, and the board was kind of upset that it was brought to them so late because they would like to have made some changes or gone back and had some more dialogue. And I see that. The abuse comes in. I'm a PE paraprofessional. We have students when we have them run the track, they figure the teacher's out of sight. And they put the headphones in and they turn the music on and they dilly-dally going along the track. We watch it, we see it, we have them come back and say, "May I please have your cell phone?" Oh, I'll put it away. No, they figured that if they're out of sight, they can abuse the privilege. It's a privilege. And the one thing that they stress is we need to teach our students how to use things properly. And the policy as it's going to sit is going to be a test, is on if the students can use technology in the classroom at the most appropriate time. They said that when they're on lunch, they can go ahead and use their cell phones and do their texting. Parents want their children to have the cell phone in case of emergencies, because one thing they brought up was color-binding, where if there's an emergency, they can contact their parents. I see that side of the coin. I see the policy as it's set now. I think what they said was a good status. All right, it's here. We'll test it out and see what happens. And if we have to make modifications, we will.